Well, I was born and raised in Brandon, Mississippi. I grew up in a nominally Christian home. People were telling me, people at church, that they felt like I was called into the ministry. Those were the early days of RTS. I was in the 6th class, 1972. I graduated, was called to a small church, and I've been here then since December of 1981, so 36 years. Belzona is basically an agricultural community. When I first came, we had about 500 manufacturing jobs in several different businesses. We have none of those anymore. They're all gone. This community has lost half its population. China took a lot of our catfish market, just about killed that industry. So the community has really hurt a lot financially. A lot of people have had to move away just to find work. 9 years into this ministry, I wasn't seeing fruit. I was telling Dorothy, I don't know if the Lord wants us to continue this. They deserve a vibrant, fruitful ministry, and I don't see it happening. I don't want to be the one in the way. Maybe we should pray about leaving. And so we started praying. And within 6 months, through a series of providential things that happened, nothing that we did, no brilliant ideas, no new ministries, sermons weren't getting any better, neither were the jokes, and yet God brought 40 or 50 people to us who turned out to be elders, deacons, choir members, Sunday school teachers, involved in missions. It had completely turned around. There was no doubt that we were supposed to be here. Like I said, we didn't have anything to do with that. We prayed, the Lord showed out. As things started to happen in the town, in the community, and here in the church especially, the community is doing this and the church is doing this. God is doing a work. The church has grown. We've had modest growth ever since. For the whole 36 years, there have been periods of time of great refreshing, and this happens to be one of them at the present. Jonathan, my assistant pastor, when he first came 2.5 years ago, he had 2 or 3 kids in the junior high, senior high youth group. Today, they're 35 to 40.
It's incredible to see what God is doing among the youth of this community. Those that I interact with are deeply longing to know the Scriptures, both Old and New Testaments, and they want to know how to be faithful in every aspect of life. It's thrilling.
First thing about our church, our pastors are so true to Scripture. This is a truly Scripture-based church. 37 years ago, I was actually on the pulpit committee looking for a pastor. I was a young man, and Richard was too. We knew Richard was a well-educated and a good, well-rounded individual. We had no idea what we were getting in Richard Wiman. This many years later, he has become just the pastor to the whole community of Belzona.
He's a pastor to everyone, even myself. I'm Jewish, and he pastors to me and my family. He's just a member of the community in all forms and facets of life.
I believe that he stays here in Belzona because of his congregation and the love of this community. He has done a tremendous job through his Presbyterian church for so many people, and he is involved in everything that is good for the city.
If you looked around at any organization other than the church, whether it's school board, industrial development, civic clubs, whatever, you would find a majority of those were from this church, because we have a commitment to the community, to love the community well, not just in word, but in deed.
If you're ever going through something bad, Belzona is where you want to be. Our community, black and white, came together when my daughter, who was 17, had a wreck, was paralyzed, waist down. Her boyfriend was killed and she was driving. And I was not a member of this church when the tragedies happened. But it's like Richard's there. Whether you're a member of his church or whether you're not a member of his church, he is a community pastor. It's through tragedies, through triumphs, he's there.
He has habitually built his life around prayer. And I think it's remarkable that RTS long ago prepared him for a ministry of prayer.
The education that I got at RTS was excellent. The pastoral heart of every one of those men was on display constantly. Dr. Strong, he made a comment. He said, "Young man, every time you get in that pulpit, remember, there is a broken heart on every pew. Let them know that they are loved and that there's a God who cares." I'll never forget that. I know from the things that I've seen that I have no clue the lives that have been touched and impacted by our ministry here. Now, will we ever see hundreds of people coming to Christ and coming into this church? Probably not. But we are trying to be the salt of the earth and the light of the world, a beacon set on a hill, a place where the light of the gospel shines forth into a community that is as dark as any because of sin. And that's why I'm thankful that I've been here as long as I have and have seen what I've seen and get to experience it. Oh, what a joy.